Hey guys, welcome back to Calico's Garage and episode number 15. In this episode, we're going to be getting the engine bay ready for paint, patching some holes in the firewall, and adding some pass-throughs for wiring. Today is actually Halloween, and here in Ohio, the temps are really dropping. Right now, I think it's like 42 degrees outside, which is not very conducive for painting. So at least I can get things ready, and then depending on the weather, I might actually be able to paint it. If not, then we'll have to wait for it to warm up, which is going to be a while. But if that's the case, then I can work on other things. But before any of that, I picked up some really cool parts yesterday, and I think you will like them as much as I do. Let's take a look. Huh? What do you think of that? Pretty cool, huh? We got the wheels and tires, and they are beautiful. The front's going really easy because they're only a 4.5-inch wide, 17 tire. The rears are a 15 by 10, and I'm going to have to figure out how to get those in there. They will fit, but I think I'm going to have to drop the backs of the leaf springs to drop it down so I can get it under here, because let me show you. They won't go that way. So I'm going to have to do some finagling. They will absolutely fit once I get clearance to get them onto the hubs. But yeah, I'm super excited about those. They are really going to look nice, especially once I get the car painted. But yeah, we're making progress. Let's do some more. All right, so we're going to do some work up here in the front of the car. There are quite a few holes that we're going to need to patch or fill in so that we can get this ready for paint. This is fine because that's where the master cylinder is going to go. These, I'm going to cover this one, this one, this one, these, and then for this, I've got this piece, which what I'm going to do is put a plate here, and then that will mount for the wiring harness for the Terminator X to go through. And I think that'll work pretty good because that's a decent sized hole already, so I won't really have to do much in the way of cutting. All I have to do is mount that plate to something, and then that'll just go right over that, cover it up, and look nice. So once I get all of these holes patched in, I don't think I'm going to worry about these on the sides too much. Mainly just the firewall itself, because I don't want like air and tire smoke and stuff like that coming in through there. These other holes on the side, they just go into the wheel well, so those aren't going to come inside. The other thing that I'm probably going to do while I'm up here is enlarge this hole probably to about here. So at the smallest part, we're looking at maybe like 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch up. Because I noticed that when the engine was in, the turbo, which is going to fit in this area here, the way the pipe came out, it was just back a little bit too far, so it was hitting here. So I think if I just trim that a little bit, that will give me enough clearance so that I can fit that in there once the engine's in. And then of course on this side there's nothing, so won't have to worry about patching anything there or enlarging any holes on that side. The other big thing, which I'm kind of concerned about or dreading having to do anything with, is this up here, where the vents were, because this style of Falcon, and I think I've heard some Mustangs, the way they drain, because it's open so water can get in there, and it has drain holes, so it's supposed to drain out, but it doesn't, so the water just sits in there and rots out, which is exactly what happened on this car. The passenger side isn't too horrible, but the driver's side is completely rotted out. There's just a big nasty tetanus shot collar hole over there. So what I decided is that I'm just going to seal that whole thing off here. So I'm just going to put a solid piece of metal across there. That way there is no way any water can even get in there, so it's not a problem anymore. The other thing I did was I removed the windshield wipers, because I'm not ever going to drive this car in the rain. If it is raining, I'm not going to go to the track or anything, just for safety, and also because I don't want to get water and have to deal with that mess. So I'm also going to plate these two holes here, but because they are so close to the molding and the windshield, I'm a little concerned about that as well, because with the metal shrinking and expanding, I don't want to crack the windshield. That would really suck. So I don't know, like, do I do that first to get it out of the way so I can not worry about it anymore, or save that for last? I don't know. I kind of just want to put some duct tape across it and call it a day, because I am not really looking forward to having to weld that whole big section there, because it's going to have to be butt welded. So I'm going to have to cut the metal exactly to that shape, and it's really something that you can't mess up. And then the other problem is I can't get underneath it. So as I'm tacking it, if a piece of it dips down below so that it's not level, there's no way for me underneath to pound it back up, because as you can see, it is totally solid, and there's no way for me to get in there unless I stick my arm on one of the sides and like fish it around, and that's just asking for trouble. So yeah, there's really no way for me to do that, which I kind of thought I could just cut a plate oversize, set it on top, but then you'd have like a lip around it, which wouldn't look the best. I think if it was just completely smooth, that would be the best, aesthetically anyway. Functionally, it's going to be the same either way. So I don't know, I'm going to have to think about that. So I'm going to put that off as long as I possibly can, as I should. So I'm going to work on these holes in the firewall first, get those tacked in, and then I'll worry about that. Looks nice. Good and solid. We are done with blading over all the holes. I did that one. That was a hole. Did these, that, 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 this big thing, and then I made a plate for this to mount to, and then this is where the wiring harness for the Holly Terminator is going to come through. That means the engine bay is ready for prime and paint, which is awesome. Not going to be doing that today because I am tired and hungry, and I've been working on this all day, so that will be probably tomorrow or the next day. There is some places in the back. Let me show you. So back here, I still need to plate this whole section here. Thankfully, it's just one big piece, and I'll probably bring it back to here, so kind of this whole section. And then on this side, I don't really think I'm going to worry about it too much. I do need to trim this back a little bit because when I mounted this, I forgot to put the end plates on, kind of like this one has, so that nothing can get inside there. So I will need to weld the plates on. I've got them already cut out, but I don't have enough space on this side, so I'm probably just going to have to cut about an inch back, make it about the same as on this side. And then as far as the floor for the back, what I'm thinking of doing to save time and money, which I love doing, is I'm just going to take the gas tank that came in the car, which was a brand new gas tank, hadn't even been used yet, and I'm just going to cut the bottom part of it off, so it's just kind of the top shell, and use that for the floor because it's got some ribbing in it, so it'll be nice and secure and sturdy. And I've got a fuel cell for the back, so I don't really need that fuel tank, and rather than going through the hassle of trying to sell it and probably just sitting on it for a long time, I am going to go ahead and just use it for the floor, which I think will work pretty good. The only thing I will need to do is probably trim out a little section of it on this side, and then here, that's going to be close. I think this side will be fine, so I'll probably just have to trim a little bit on this side to fit around this, and that should work pretty good. And it's already exactly the size that it needs to be to go in there, so I think that'll save a lot of work doing it that way. I also have to mount weld a plate between these two, just kind of a flat plate on both sides to secure this. And then once I've done that, I think all the structure pieces that need repaired will be done. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close up shop today. I'll catch back up with you tomorrow. All right, that is patched. That took a while. A lot of hammering and tacking and lots of work, but it is in there and it is nice and solid. So the only places that I have left are the dreaded front. I also have one over here, right here. I think that's where the antenna was. Maybe I can do that one real quick. Nah, that one's going to take a while too, because I have to cut that circle to that exact size, and I honestly just don't feel like doing that right now. Ugh. Okay, I'll be back. All right, after a little bit of grinding, I got this made for the hole. It will fit right in there. Let me do that. It will fit just like that. So now I can just tack it in a couple spots and then weld it around. That'll be done. And then that thing. All right, let's do it. All right, there we go. A little body filler before paint. You won't even see that. Came out pretty good. I'm just hoping that this one comes out as good. I mean, really, hopefully better, but if it comes out about like that, I will be super happy about it. All right, I guess we should quit procrastinating and get to fixing it. All right, guys, I think I have got the patch for the top cowl. It is fitting pretty good. I've got real tight gaps, so I think this will weld fairly well. And speaking of welding, I am going to try to TIG weld this. That's one of the features of my welder. Got the TIG. I've been practicing on some scrap metal, and it's definitely harder than MIG, I'll give you that. And I can see how it really takes a lot of practice and skill to do it right. But I think that I should be able to get it on here fairly well. I'm going to tack it in a bunch of places first, and then I ended up cutting out, I don't know if you can see under there, I cut out like a section underneath here so that I could reach up and get the dolly under there so I can hammer the welds flat, which from what I have seen online, that's kind of a big important step for TIG welding sheet metal that's really thin, especially body panels. You want to be able to get that dolly behind it so you can hammer those welds out flat and stretch the metal back out. So wish me luck, and hopefully this comes out good. Well, I have got it tacked in, and I can absolutely say with 100% certainty that TIG welding is definitely not in my wheelhouse. For the most part, they're okay, but as you can see, there are several places that blew out. So I think what I'm going to do is TIG weld the seams as best as I can, because like once I get going and it's flowing, it seems to work okay. It's just those initial tacks where you're kind of focusing the heat in one spot and then it starts blowing out and then just stop. So I think I'm going to try to just TIG weld around everything, and then anything that has blown out, I'm just going to come back with a MIG and just fill those in, because that's really super easy to do. And I'm way more comfortable with that. So I was right. This sucks. All right, I guess I'll stop putting it off and just give it a shot. All right, I think that is gonna do it for the TIG welding part. It came out about as good as I expected it to. There's just a few places I'm gonna have to fix with some MIG tacks over here really bad. But overall, for my first time TIG welding, I can say that it definitely takes a lot of skill, and my hat is off to anybody that does it on a daily basis and does it well, because it is hard. I kept dipping my tungsten into either the weld pool, or as I was bringing the filler rod in, I would hit the tungsten and it would melt to it. I'd have to keep grinding it sharp again. I mean, it's cool. I'd like to be able to do it better. I'd like to practice more. I don't want to say it sucks, because it really doesn't. The end result, when you do it well, looks really good. I clearly don't do it very well, but I do it good enough to pass. So I'm going to do some hammering and dolly to kind of smooth it out. It's kind of wavy from where it heated up and stretched and cooled and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to fix these. I'm going to grind it. Then I think I'm going to call it a day for today, because it is cold. My nose is running like a faucet, and I think the new Sleeper Dude's out, because it's past 1 o'clock, so I'm going to go watch that. Well, now that I'm looking at it, I think I probably will TIG weld these. I'm going to reach behind and put something and just kind of hold it here and then tack it, and then the same on the inside. Where is that? Here in the little hole, if I can find it. There we go, right there. So I think I'll do that. That way it is sealed off better, but like I said, I'm not doing that today. I have done enough TIG welding today. That is a project for tomorrow or another day. So let me finish this, and then I will catch back up with you guys. Like I said, I am much better at MIG welding, but I can appreciate the TIG weld for sure. And I am happy that is done. So now I'm just gonna grind it, get it relatively smooth. It's obviously gonna take some body putty, Mondo, icing, primer, all kinds of stuff like that to get it looking good, but that will be down the road. So I'm just going to go ahead and grind it smooth, call it a day. That is sanded about as good as it's going to get. I'm not mad at it. I'm going to throw some primer on it so it doesn't rust. And then it will be ready whenever for probably some short strand body filler, just to get it real nice and equaled out, and then from there I can body work it smooth. So glad that's done. Very glad. And it came out better than I was hoping, I should say. I'll call that a win. And I'm going to call that a day. So I will catch back up with you guys tomorrow. I decided to fill in all the holes on, well, all the body from where the logos, I guess you call them, are, where it said Falcon on the side, and then also on the back it said Falcon across there. The only letter that was left was the C, so I just took that off, and then I filled in all those holes. I'm just going to make it smooth, and then once I get the car painted, what I'm going to do is cut out some vinyl letters to stick on the side and the back. That way it'll just make things a whole lot easier. I won't have to worry about, you know, trying to source the actual Falcon logos. I mean, I've got them over here, at least most of the parts, but as you can see, they're kind of broken. This one's kind of cool, but yeah, I think I'm just going to do vinyl letters on those to make it easier. Plus I can make them like a color to match the paint scheme. And I did get this primed, and then also up here I got that primed. It looks a whole lot better when it's primed than it did when it was metal. It's still going to take some body work. I knew that was going to happen anyway, so that's not a big deal. Yesterday I ordered a radiator and an intercooler for the front, and then the cold side piping, so that should be getting here next week sometime. It's not going to go in until I get the car, or at least the engine bay, painted, which is going to be the next step, I think. Even though it is kind of cold, I have been watching some videos from a few reputable YouTubers that they were just saying to adjust the hardener and catalyst ratio for the paint and thin it down a little bit. So I'm going to give it a try. I'm probably just going to use regular Rust-Oleum self-etching primer in a can to prime everything. I obviously have to degrease it and everything first, but I'm just going to use the regular rattle can Rust-Oleum primer on it, get it all ready to go. Basically this stuff here that you see that I've put on all the patches. And then I got, for the paint, I ended up getting some gloss black Farm and Implement paint. which should look pretty good. Basically, I got all the paint stuff here. I'm going to use this to degrease it. I heard that was the best stuff to use. It smells awful, but it doesn't react with metal. It doesn't do anything to paint. And allegedly it eats through the grease and gunk like nothing else. So I went with that. But I think that's going to be in the next video. So this is going to end this one. If you like what you've seen, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Leave a comment. Occasionally I'll get a comment. I respond as soon as I see them. So if you want to answer to a question, go ahead and leave a comment and I'll answer it as best as I can. If you've really liked what you've seen, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the bell to be notified when I release the next video, which obviously is going to be painting the engine bay and possibly, well, probably just painting it because I'm going to have to let it dry before I put the engine in. So that's kind of going to be it for this. I'm Chris. Thanks for watching the Falcon Project on Calico's Garage. See you next time.